So my goals are simple. I want coffee that's sweet with clear flavors and a vibrant mouthfeel. Today, I'm brewing the Blueberry Tart Ethiopian Naturals, roasted by Sown. Flavor notes are blueberry, cream cheese, and tart. So I got these beans from Dorae Knot. I mentioned to Ryan, I'm out of beans, but I'm looking for something with like a blueberry kind of sweet taste. And he was like, I got you, man. And he pulled these out for me to sample. Maybe it's the Ryan connection, but he just knows. So I'm starting off with a soft bloom, beginning in the center, and then slowly moving outwards. On the second pour, I'm building a bit of body, enough structure to hold all the flavors together and support the lingering sweetness through the cup. The reason I'm approaching it this way is to let the Neo do what it does best, keeping the flavors clearly defined while still feeling vibrant and well structured. For the flavor notes, I'm expecting blueberry up front, a nice gentle tardiness, and a clean, sweet finish. If you want the exact brew timings, comment tart and I'll send you my recipe. Welcome back to another cup. Today, I'm so excited that I got started already. We have the Blueberry Tart Ethiopian Naturals, roasted by Sown, that I received as a sample from Dorae Knot. I've ran out of beans to kind of review or talk about, but also just to enjoy. And I went over to Dorae Knot thinking I was gonna buy some, something nice. I wanted to go to Dorae Knot to buy some beans. And when I got there, he told me he had sold out of everything. He didn't have any beans in stock, so kind of a bummer. But when I told him, I was like, yeah, man, I'm looking for something that's like a little blueberry, a little tarty, a little sweet, just something that is just like a little more flavor forward that I want to enjoy. He said, hold on, give me a second. He reached back and he pulled out this, the Sown, the Blueberry Tart. I don't know if it was like a Ryan connection or something like that, but basically, I mean, he only had like 50 grams left. So he was like, you can have the rest of this as a sample and just let me know what you think, because I think he's like also sampling them. I've had one cup already and this tastes awesome. This is exactly what I was looking for. It's the right amount of sweetness, it's the right amount of tardiness, and it's just a really clean finish that you wouldn't expect that as something with a cream cheese flavor note, because that's kind of like a sticky, kind of a thick, like cheese is a little thick. It is sweet, but it's a little thick and kind of a slurry. But the recipe that I use today doesn't really make that kind of flavor profile. So yeah, the gear that I'm using today is the V60 Neo with Cafec Avoca papers, and I have my ZP6 set at 4.5. So the brewing recipe that I'm doing today is a recipe that my friend Kevin kind of like brought me onto. I'm using 14 grams at a 1:16 ratio. We're using a nice cooler temperature at a 91 degrees Celsius. The brewing recipe is, with the switch closed, we're gonna pour for 50 grams, and then at 45 seconds, we're gonna open and then pour to 124. And then at 130, or when the bed starts to get exposed, we're gonna pour to 224. That should give us a finishing drawdown time of around 315, 320, 330, but anything between 315 and 330 is totally fine. So yeah, let's get started. We have the water set at 91. Here we go. So we start from the center, a nice gentle pour to the outside. It's kind of a controlled pace, but we're going to 50, so we're not pouring too fast, we're not pouring too slow. Get that nice blueberry cheesecake aroma. The cream cheese is really apparent. And then at 45 seconds, we're gonna open and then pour to 124. So we're hitting around 130 right now, and the bed is just about to get exposed, so I'm gonna start pouring again to 224. What I like to do is pull down the sides for this one. And then once we hit 190, I'm gonna do a high center pour, break up the center, and then get to 224. So the reason why I do that is sometimes when you're pulling down the sides, the grinds start to stack up and it starts to get clogged. So one thing I like to do is pour a little higher, give a little bit more velocity. It'll circulate the grinds and then it'll just let the flow rate continue and flow naturally. Oh yeah, this is smelling great. I believe we're gonna hit our timings. Here we are at 330. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Beautiful color. Beautiful, clean. Smells amazing. Let's get a little taste going. Ooh. You know, I always say the same thing about my cups, where some of these cups, sometimes the coffee that you make, it really just like brings a smile to your face when you drink it. And this is one of them. Oh, incredible. You get that really, really nice blueberry taste up front, like what I was expecting my recipe to do. Has a really clean sweetness in the middle, and then it ends with like a nice tarty kind of like aftertaste, but it's still like a long lingering sweetness that is just like a sweet and tart kind of like mixture. The cream cheese is more of like an aroma, which I appreciate, and it's not something that I can fully taste, but I know that as an aroma, if it's an aroma, it's a flavor in the coffee, but it's just something that I'm not tasting. Maybe that's because of the blueberry is overpowering the cream cheese, and it's a very like soft flavor, but it's not sticky. It's very sweet, and it's like a kind of a syrupy texture, but the 1:16 ratio doesn't make it so syrupy. But it's really nice. Oh yeah, this is like truly tastes like a blueberry cheesecake. Anyways, if you've enjoyed this cup, please consider liking and subscribing the video. Leave a comment if you have any questions about any of the stuff that I'm using, or you know, like anything at all. Join my Discord. I'm trying to build a community, and you know, just like trying to make sure everybody has a fun place where we can talk about the ZP6 and the Neo, or just any questions that you have about coffee. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Peace.